Next, I'm inviting up Rakesh Amin. He's a partner at Amin Talati Wasserman. Hi, Rakesh.
Hi, Beth. Thank you.
So nice to see you. Thanks so much for joining us. So I'm really excited to talk to you. I spoke to your colleague, actually, about the recent cannabis hearing that the FDA ran on May 31st. I know that a lot of your clients are CBD related or are companies that already existed or thinking of adding CBD to their product lineup. I'm curious, I know maybe you didn't sit through the whole trial, but what were some of the main issues that you know were presented?
I think, it was a gathering of, the public and industry, trade associations and companies that are involved. GW, was in attendance, which is, the pharmaceutical company that manufactures the CBD drug. And so it was like a public hearing. It was a lot of everything, just like their thoughts on CBD, the benefits of CBD, their concerns on CBD, and so I think they heard a lot of everything on issues of effectiveness, quality, safety, supply chain issues, the regulations. I think that's pretty much what you heard. The FDA ended it, indicating that they had a lot of concerns on, everything from, the legalities to the dosing to the claims, the effectiveness. So there was a lot of, basically about the issues that are all behind, marketing and selling an ingestible or topical. So the FDA ended with saying that it was like really complicated. And I think that you're definitely going to see the ball moving forward. It could be a few years because there's a lot to process. I know that we would like to simplify it. It could be simplified by, exempting CBD from, being considered an IND preclusion situation. But I think that there's going to be more to it. Right now, they could keep it. Right now, we believe that there's adequate regulations for marketing foods, beverages, supplements, including material compounds like CBD, hemp extracts. There's a regulatory framework already. So I don't think that there's not an overhaul or there's not necessarily a huge path that needs to be developed just for CBD. But, with all of the confusion and with everything that has occurred to date, simplification is needed, and that's why the public meeting occurred, because the businesses want to be able to sell, want the consumers to have something that's reliable, consistent, predictable, safe, effective, high quality. That's what everybody wants. So.
Absolutely. And I'm curious to hear, what are some of the concerns from the brands that you work with? You work with food, drink, and supplement brands as well.
We do. I think they just want to know it's issue spotting, appreciating the risk, figuring out how to manage the risk, and then they'll make the decision on how to take the risk. So I think, initially what we help on is issue spotting from the federal level, every state, and whether you're marketing it as a supplement or a food or beverage or a cosmetic. I think that's number one, is that people are looking for answers on what the issues are in the first place, because it's really apparent that that hasn't been drilled down, that hasn't been clearly understood. So I think that issue spotting and then really appreciating that risk, like knowing that right now today, California said no CBD in food and beverage. Do you want to make that business decision to still do that and to still sell in California? So I think the next level after you spot an issue is to really appreciate the issue. You know, you got to love it for all the good and any negative. And then you make the decision on whether to spend the time and resources and money on how to manage it. And you put yourself in the best position. So there are ways to put yourself in a position to succeed, for sure, with CBD products, with food, beverage, cosmetics. It's not 100%. It's not a slam dunk or a layup. But at the same time, there are lots of things developing that, including the legalization of cannabis, that is going to affect all this too. So I think once they identify the issues and really appreciate it and then understand how you would manage it, like if there was a seizure in South Dakota, that's what they want. They want to feel comfort. So they want to know what the issues are. They don't want it to all of a sudden, the people that are exploring it, they don't think it's the boogeyman. They just want to make sure that they have the issues spotted and then, you know, understand how to manage it. And then they're pretty comfortable in taking the risk is the feedback that I'm getting. And I understand, like this CBD, I saw from BDS analytics that they said that the CBD market was going to be, I think, 23 billion by 2022, or maybe it was like, you know, 22 billion by 2023. But, you know, the supplement market right now is only 50 billion. So that's just an amazing amount of growth. And so, you know, these predictions are based on it being that there's a legal path. Right. And so I think one thing is sourcing. And so make sure you get industrial hemp certified, you know, your material. Make sure that you're labeling it properly. And there are different levels of risk on how to label it, but at the end of the day, to really understand it, and really, at the end of the day, being truthful, non-misleading, having competent and reliable scientific evidence supporting your claims. If you know, resist making any aggressive claims, even if you do have substantiation, because that's what the FDA is kind of targeting right now is claims. They're talking a little about IND preclusion in some of the warning letters, but it's really more about claims, and I think they're more worried about quality, and still they're concerned about safety too, you know. So I think all of that put together, I find it interesting that GW at the public hearing somewhat implied or stated expressly that they completely support CBD in food and beverage. So, and that IND preclusion, that IND provision in the Food, Drug, and Cosmetic Act is a commercial provision. It's not really one about safety. It's really one, was it a drug before it was a supplement? And if it was a drug before a supplement, it can never be a supplement. It has to first be a supplement before it becomes a drug. And you can do that. You can be a food or beverage and then become a drug. Right. But you can't be a drug first. So. And
that's kind of what the FDA is talking about, maybe reversing. They have the authority to do that.
Well, they haven't even made a final decision that there's IND preclusion. They put a Q&A out there, but they haven't, you know, said that the warning letter is not a final dispositive agency decision. And they haven't seized products, so they can't even be challenged. The FDA can't be challenged on their position. Like an industry or a company couldn't sue the FDA right now. They could do that with the state if a state like South Dakota was seizing. Right? So then, but you know, it's a lot, and it's such a burgeoning market, and it's so, you know, it's in its infancy. So that is why I think there's a lot of cautiousness. And I think that's important, with anything, with any food technology, with any food development, any help, any innovation. And CBD is part of food technology.
Absolutely.
It's going to be, and so you have to really understand it. People are, a lot of jokes and a lot of whatnot about CBDs, but in the end, I think they need to be embraced and understood and regulated, but it is regulated by and large by the current food and drug regulations that are out there.
Right.
The FDA has just taken a position that there is IND preclusion, but we disagree with that position. And it's only a position, it hasn't been challenged, there hasn't been any process behind, determining whether there is IND preclusion.
Right.
And there's, we submitted many of the arguments to the FDA already and some of our responses to warning letters. So we'll see where it ends up. I mean, I say that it's not a layup or a slam dunk or even a three-point shot, but we don't even know if we're going to be able to shoot because we don't know if the FDA is ever going to enforce in a way that then it's going to be litigated.
Right.
So, and I don't think that they're looking to do that.
Right. Well, it's something we look forward to continuing to cover as it unfolds. And thank you so much for being here with us to talk about it. I really appreciate it. And
well, thank you very much.
you.
I really appreciate the invite too. Thank you.